Hi, welcome to Kavin Education. In this lecture series, we will be dealing with various central government schemes implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Let me ask you a simple question. Who is the Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare? The answer is Narendra Singh Tomar. Remember, when you are studying about any central government scheme, try to focus about the following points. First one is objective of the scheme. Next is the scheme implemented under which ministry. The other is eligibility criteria of the scheme. The next is funding pattern of the scheme. These are the broad parameters on which a scheme should be learnt. Let's go into the schemes implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. First scheme is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, PM Kisan, is a central sector scheme that guarantees direct income support of 6,000 for farmers. The scheme guarantees direct income support of 6,000 for every farming household. This is a central sector scheme. This means 100% of funding for the scheme comes from the central government. The amount of 6,000 will be given in 3 installments of 2,000 each. The amount will be transferred directly to the bank account of the beneficiaries through direct benefit transfer. Direct benefit transfer will ensure transparency in the entire process and will save the time of the farmers. This financial benefit of 6,000 is given to farmers as income support to help them to buy farm inputs and meet other expenditures during the crop season. Though the scheme was launched on 24th February 2019, the scheme will be made effective retrospectively from 1st December 2018. Another important point is, in the beginning, when the scheme was launched on 24th February 2019, its benefits were admissible only to the small and marginal farmer families with a combined land holding up to 2 hectares. But the scheme was later revised on June 2019 and benefits extended to all farmer families irrespective of size of their land. That means now the scheme is applicable to all the farmer families irrespective of their land size. However, the scheme mentions certain categories of farmer families who are ineligible for the scheme. That is, the farmers' families whose members are former and present holders of constitutional post. Constitutional posts are the posts mentioned in the constitution like president, governor, CAG, attorney general, etc. The farmers' families whose members are former and present ministers, state ministers, MLAs, MPs. Former and present mayors of municipal corporations, chairpersons of district panchayats. All serving retired officers of central or state government, ministries, offices and departments, as well as regular employees of local bodies. All the retired pensioners whose monthly pension is 10,000 or more. Here, multitasking staff, class 4 and group D employees are excluded. All the persons who paid income tax in the last assessment year, that means all the income tax payers. Professionals like doctors, engineers, lawyers, chartered accountants, architects registered with professional bodies. These are the farmer families ineligible under the scheme. Another important point is state government and union territory administration will identify the farmer families who are eligible for the support as per the scheme guidelines. This is all about Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. Let's go into the details of another scheme. Next scheme is PM Kisan Mandhan Yojana. PM Kisan Mandhan Yojana is a new central sector and pension scheme. It is a central sector scheme, that is 100% of funding comes from the central government, and it is a pension scheme intended only for small and marginal farmers who owns less than 2 hectares of land. 2 hectares of land is equal to 5 acres of land. As 1 hectare equal to 2.5 acre of land, 2 hectares is equal to 5 acres of land. It is a pension scheme applicable for only small and marginal farmers who owns land less than 2 hectares. While PM Kisan scheme is applicable for all farmer households, this PM Kisan Mandhan Yojana is applicable only for small and marginal farmers. Under this scheme, a minimum fixed pension of 3000 rupees is provided to eligible small and marginal farmers on attaining an age of 60 years. This scheme was launched on 12th September 2019 with a view to provide social security to small and marginal farmers in their old age. It is a voluntary and contributory pension scheme with an entry age of 18 to 40 years. That is, small and marginal farmers between the age of 18 to 40 years is eligible to enter into the scheme. The beneficiary is required to make a monthly contribution of between rupees 55 to rupees 200. The amount between rupees 55 to 200 to the pension fund depending on the age of entry into the scheme. Central government will contribute equally to that of beneficiary's contribution. Suppose if a beneficiary contributes 100 rupees, central government also contributes 100 rupees. The pension fund is managed by Life Insurance Corporation of India. Pension fund here is managed by Life Insurance Corporation of India. The farmers can also allow contribution to be made directly from the benefits drawn from PM Kisan scheme. The beneficiary may exit from the scheme voluntarily or on failure of contribution or on demise. On the death of the subscriber during the period of contribution, the spouse shall have the option of continuing the scheme by paying the regular contribution. After the death of both farmer and the spouse, the accumulated corpus shall be credited back to the pension fund. There are certain exceptions under the scheme. The beneficiary should not be covered under any other statutory social security schemes. And it includes exemptions under PM Kisan scheme. This means the beneficiaries who are going to enroll under the scheme should not be covered by already existing social security schemes. And also the exemptions under PM Kisan scheme, that is the farmer families holding constitutional posts, holding central or state government posts, etc., are also not eligible for availing pension benefits under PM Kisan Mandhan Yojana. This scheme aims to cover around 3 crore small and marginal farmers. The initial enrollment into the scheme is being done through the common service centers in various states. Next scheme is National Bamboo Mission. The name itself indicates the scheme is related to the development of bamboo sector. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. National Bamboo Mission is a centrally sponsored scheme to supplement farm income with the development of complete value chain of bamboo sector and link growers with the markets. This means this scheme aims to develop bamboo sector in order to supplement farm income, and it also aims to link bamboo growers with markets. As the scheme is centrally sponsored scheme, 60% of funds comes from the central government and 40% of funds are borne by state government in case of normal states, whereas 90% of funds comes from the central government and 10% of funds are borne by the state government in case of northeastern and Himalayan states. Let's know about the objectives of the scheme. First objective is to increase the area under bamboo plantation in non-forest government and private lands. To increase area under bamboo plantation in non-forest government and private lands. Second objective is to improve post-harvest management. that is after harvest management, through establishment of innovative primary processing units and market infrastructure. The third objective is to promote product development, to promote bamboo product development by assisting research and development, entrepreneurship, and business models at MSME level, micro, small, medium enterprise level. That is to promote bamboo product development at MSME level. Fourth one is to regenerate the underdeveloped bamboo industry in India. That is to provide new strength to the underdeveloped bamboo industry in India. Fifth is to promote skill development, capacity building, awareness generation for the development of the bamboo sector. Next is to realign efforts. That is to streamline efforts so as to reduce dependency on the import of bamboo and bamboo products by improved productivity. That is to improve productivity of the bamboo sector in order to reduce dependency and import of bamboo products. These are the objectives of the scheme. Now, let's go into the other scheme. Next scheme is Pradhana Mantri Annadata Ay Samrakshan Yojana, which is also known as PM Asha. PM Asha is a new umbrella procurement scheme aimed at ensuring remunerative prices to the farmers for their produce. The key aim of the initiative is to ensure profitable prices to the farmers for their produce. The three components that are part of PM Asha are: first component is Price Support Scheme PSS. Second component is Price Deficiency Payment Scheme PDPS. The third component is Pilot of Private Procurement and Stockist Scheme PPPS. The first component is Price Support Scheme PSS. Under the PSS, direct physical procurement of pulses, oilseeds and copra will be done by central nodal agencies. This means central nodal agencies will directly procure pulses, oilseeds and copra from the farmers. Here, NAFED and Food Corporation of India both will act as central nodal agencies for procurement of crops under PSS. The abbreviation of NAFED is National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India. The expenditure and losses due to procurement will be borne by the center. This is the first component of the scheme. Next component of the scheme is Price Deficiency Payment Scheme PDPS. Under this component, government do not involve in any physical procurement of the crops from the farmers. But the government pays the difference between MSP and actual selling price directly into the bank accounts of the farmers so that farmers do not face any losses. Suppose the MSP of mustard seed is 4,000 rupees per quintal, whereas actual selling price is 3,500 rupees per quintal in the market. The government will pay the price difference of these both, that is rupees 500, directly into the bank account of the farmers so that farmers do not incur any loss. Under this component, center proposes to cover all the oilseeds for which MSP is notified. All the oilseeds for which minimum support price is notified is covered under this component. Third component of the scheme is Pilot of Private Procurement and Stockist Scheme. As the name itself indicates, this component involves private procurement. Under this component, the states will have the option to roll out this component in selected districts in case of oilseeds. Here, the private player can procure crops at minimum support price when market prices drop below minimum support price. The private player enters into the scene whenever authorized by the state or union territory government to enter into the market. This means, upon the authorization of the state government, private player enters into the market and buys the oil seeds at MSP wherever the selling prices drop below MSP. Here, the private player will be compensated through a service charge, which is up to maximum of 15% of MSP. This means the private player will be compensated the loss by the government up to maximum of 15% of MSP. This is the third component. This is all about Pradhan Mantri Annadata Aay Samrakshan Abhiyan, that is PM Asha. I forgot to mention point that PM Asha is introduced in the year September 2018. Next scheme is Krishi Kalyan Abhiyan. This scheme is launched to aid, assist and advise farmers on how to improve their farming techniques and raise their incomes. This means this scheme is aimed to assist farmers to improve their farming techniques and thereby raise their incomes. Krishi Kalyan Abhiyan will be undertaken in 25 villages. These villages must have population of more than 1,000 each. These villages should lie in aspirational districts. These villages are identified in consultation with the Ministry of Rural Development as per the directions of Niti Aayog. The overall coordination and implementation of this scheme in 25 villages of district is being done by Krishi Vignan Kendra of the district. This means the scheme is implemented by Krishi Vignan Kendra of the district. Various activities under this plan are distribution of soil health cards to all the farmers, 100% coverage of bovine vaccination for foot and mouth disease in each village. Foot and mouth disease is highly infectious viral disease among the cattle. Next, distribution of mini kits of pulses and oil seeds to all. Demonstration program on micro irrigation. Krishi Kalyan Abhiyan is launched in the year 2018. This is all about Krishi Kalyan Abhiyan. Now, let us go into the next scheme. Green Revolution Krishonnati Yojana. This Green Revolution Krishonnati Yojana is an umbrella scheme which comprises of 11 sub-schemes or 11 missions which looks to develop agriculture and allied sectors in a holistic manner to increase the incomes of the farmers. The 11 schemes or sub-missions under Green Revolution Krishonnati Yojana are: first, the Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture. Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture, MIDH. This scheme aims to promote holistic growth of horticulture sector. Horticulture is the growing of flowers, fruits, vegetables and ornamental plants. Second scheme is National Food Security Mission, NFSM, including National Mission on Oilseeds, Oil Palm. That is National Food Security Mission along with National Mission on Oilseeds and Oil Palm. This aims to increase production of rice, wheat, pulses, coarse cereals and commercial crops through area expansion and productivity enhancement. The third scheme is National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, NMSA. It aims at providing sustainable agricultural practices suitable for specific agroecology. This means it aims to promote sustainable and beneficial agricultural practices suitable to particular area. Fourth one is Sub-Mission on Agriculture Extension. Agriculture extension services are the support services provided to the farmers. These include providing farmers with information regarding to soil health, educating farmers on farming techniques, etc. This mission aims to strengthen the ongoing extension mechanism of state governments, local bodies, etc. and thereby it aims to achieve nutritional food and nutritional security. The next is submission on seeds and planting material. It aims to increase production of certified or quality seed to increase SRR. SRR means seed replacement rate. Seed replacement rate is a measure of cropped area covered with quality seed. It also aims to upgrade the quality of farm saved seeds. The next is submission on agricultural mechanization. It aims to increase the reach of farm mechanization to small and marginal farmers and to the regions where availability of farm power is low. Next mission is Integrated Scheme on Agriculture Census, Economics and Statistics. This scheme aims to undertake agriculture census, study the cost of cultivation of principal crops, etc. The next submission is Integrated Scheme on Agricultural Cooperation. This scheme aims to provide financial assistance. This scheme aims to provide financial assistance for improving economical conditions of cooperatives and in order to remove regional imbalances. This scheme aims to improve the economic conditions of cooperatives and thereby remove regional imbalances. Next scheme is Integrated Scheme on Agricultural Marketing. This scheme aims to develop agriculture marketing infrastructure. It also aims to establish nationwide marketing information network so that farmers can easily get market information at a single go. Next scheme aims to integrate the existing IT initiatives of central and states for the betterment of the farmers. National e-governance plan aims to improve the access of farmers to information and services. As seen till now, these are 11 separate schemes, but in 2017-18, it has been decided to club all these 11 schemes and missions under one umbrella scheme, and this umbrella scheme is known as Green Revolution Krishi Unnati Yojana. This is all about Green Revolution Krishi Unnati Yojana. Next scheme is Mission Organic Value Chain Development for Northeastern Region. This scheme is specifically intended for 8 northeastern states. This scheme is a central sector scheme that seeks to develop the organic farming potential of northeastern India. As this scheme is the central sector scheme, 100% of funding comes from the central government. The scheme covers 8 northeastern states of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura. The scheme mainly focuses on the development of certified organic production. The scheme focuses mainly on the development of certified organic production, development of the value chain, and linking organic growers with the consumers. The scheme focuses on the development of entire value chain, starting from production, processing, marketing, and support agencies. This scheme is implemented as submission under National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. Next scheme is Soil Health Card Scheme. Soil Health Card is a printed report which contains nutrient status of the soil with respect to 12 nutrients like phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, zinc, etc. This card informs farmers about nutrient status of the soil. It also contains recommendations on appropriate dosage of nutrients required to improve soil health and fertility. The soil samples are tested in various soil testing labs across the country. After testing, the experts will analyze the strength and weakness of the soil and suggest measures to deal with it. And this report is printed on the soil health card. This card will be issued once in 3 years to a farm so that nutrient deficiency can be regularly detected and improved. This scheme was launched in 2015 in Rajasthan. The aim of the government is to provide soil health cards to 12 crore farm holdings by December 2017. The first phase of the scheme has been conducted from 2015 to 17. Nearly 10 crore soil health cards have been distributed in the first phase. The second phase began on May 1st, 2017 and continued till 2019. 11.6 crores of soil health cards have been distributed in the second phase. This scheme is also implemented as a sub-scheme under National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. The funding pattern of the scheme is 60% of funds comes from the central government and 40% of the funds comes from the state government in case of normal states, whereas 90% of funds comes from the central government and 10% of the funds comes from the state government in case of northeastern and Himalayan states, while 100% funds comes from the central government in case of union territories. Next scheme is Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. As the name itself indicates, the scheme is comprehensive crop insurance scheme. The aim of the scheme is to provide comprehensive insurance coverage against crop loss. The scheme aims to provide comprehensive insurance coverage against crop loss. The scheme is made compulsory for the farmers availing institutional crop loans for notified crops in notified areas, and it is made voluntary for non-loany farmers. This means the farmers who are availing crop loans from the banks should compulsory join in the scheme. The non-loany farmers, that means the farmers who are not taking loans, may or may not join in the scheme. It is voluntary for them. There is uniform premium rate to be paid by the farmers on a pan-India basis. These premium rates are 1.5% for Rabi crops, 2% for Kharif crops, and 5% for horticulture and commercial crops, respectively. This means the farmer has to pay uniform premium rates of 1.5% for the Rabi crops, 2% for the Kharif crops, and 5% for horticulture and commercial crops. The difference between actual rate of premium and the premium paid by the farmer will be borne by the government as government subsidy. There is no upper limit on government subsidy in this scheme. Losses covered under this scheme are non-preventable risks such as natural fire, storm, hailstorm, cyclone and inundation. These also been included as localized calamities. Post-harvest losses are also covered. This scheme will make use of remote sensing technology, smartphones and drones for quick and transparent estimation of crop losses to ensure early settlement of claims by the insurance company. A cluster-based approach will be adopted. Cluster-based approach means a group of districts will be allotted to an insurance company. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana scheme implemented by replacing two existing schemes. These two existing schemes are National Agricultural Insurance Scheme and Modified National Agricultural Insurance Scheme. PM Fasal Bima Yojana came into existence by replacing these two schemes. This table shows the differences between previous existing schemes and PM Fasal Bima Yojana. The premium rates are lower than the previous existing schemes in PM Fasal Bima Yojana. Insurance amount covered is full under PM Fasal Bima Yojana. Localized risk coverage covers hailstorm and landslide inundation too. Landslide inundation is not covered under the previous schemes. Post-harvest losses coverage for coastal areas includes cyclonic and seasonal rain too. The seasonal rain is not covered under previous schemes. Use of technology is mandatory for PM Fasal Bima Yojana. Next scheme is Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. The main aim of the scheme is to promote organic farming. Organic farming is the type of farming without the use of any chemical fertilizers or pesticides or synthetic hormones, or without the use of any genetically modified organisms. So, the organic farming produce will be pesticide residue free and will contribute to improve the health of the consumer. Under Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, a group of farmers would be motivated to take up organic farming based on cluster-based approach. Every farmer will be provided rupees 20,000 in 3 years to undertake organic farming under this scheme. Next scheme is ENAM, Electronic National Agricultural Market. ENAM is a pan-India electronic trading portal which links the existing APMC mandis into a common unified national market for agricultural commodities. In simple terms, ENAM is an online trading portal for agricultural commodities. This online market helps in better price discovery and also provides for smooth marketing of the farmers' produce. Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, SFAC. Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, SFAC, is the lead agency for implementing ENAM in the country. Government has created ATIF, Agri-Tech Infrastructure Fund. Through this fund, Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium will implement ENAM. This fund is used by SFAC to implement ENAM in the country. Objectives of ENAM include better price discovery, liberal licensing of traders, commission agents and buyers by state authorities. One common license for the trader all over the country. The objectives of ENAM include genuine price discovery, liberal licensing of traders and commission agents by state authority, and one common license for the trader all over the country. Single point levy of market fee, that is on the first wholesale purchase from the farmer. Provision of soil testing laboratories in the mandis itself. ENAM is a central sector scheme. Willing states enact suitable provisions in their respective APMC, Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee Act, for integration with this e-platform. Next scheme is Participatory Guarantee Scheme. Participatory Guarantee Scheme is the process of certifying organic products. This scheme is the process of certifying organic products. This scheme ensures that the organic production takes place in accordance with the laid down quality standards. This PGS certification, Participatory Guarantee Scheme certification, is in the form of documented logo or statement. This scheme is rolled out as certified organic production in the country is very low. Next is Small Farmers Agricultural Business Consortium, SFAC. Small Farmers Agri-Business Consortium. SFAC was established as a society in 1994 to facilitate agri-business in order to increase the incomes of small and marginal farmers by bringing in private investment. The scheme aims to support new ventures in agro-based industries and to promote farmer producer organizations. SFAC gives venture capital assistance. Venture capital assistance is the financial support in the form of interest-free loan. SFAC gives venture capital assistance and project development facility to support new ventures in agro-based industries. Individuals, farmers, producer groups, partnership and proprietary firms, self-help groups and other companies are the beneficiaries that are getting benefited under by SFAC. SFAC also acts as one of the central procurement agencies for pulses and oilseeds under Price Stabilization Fund. Few important schemes launched by SFAC are Equity Grant and Credit Guarantee Fund Scheme, Venture Capital Assistance Scheme, Farmer Producer Organization Scheme, National Agricultural Market Scheme, etc. Next is National Food Security Mission NFSM. This machine is launched to enhance the production of rice, wheat, pulses, coarse cereals and commercial crops like cotton, jute and sugarcane. The targets under National Food Security Mission include improving the production of rice by 10 million tons and improving the production of wheat by 8 million tons and improving the production of pulses by 4 million tons respectively and improving the production of coarse cereals by 3 million tons. The funding pattern of the scheme is 50% of the funds comes from the central government and 50% of funds comes from the state government for food crops and 100% central funding for cash crops. This scheme would be implemented through cluster demonstration and distribution of high yield seeds with farm mechanization and integrated pest management. Next scheme is Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. The main objective of the scheme is to extend the coverage of irrigation. That means to expand the area of irrigated land in the country and improving water use efficiency. This means using water judiciously. The scheme is formulated by amalgamating, that means the scheme is formulated by subsuming the ongoing schemes like AIBP, Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program, OFWM, On-Farm Water Management Program, and Integrated Watershed Management Program. The scheme is formulated by subsuming schemes like AIBP, OFWM and IWMP. Under the scheme, Micro Irrigation Fund with an initial corpus of 5,000 crore was constituted under NABARD. This fund will support the efforts of per drop more crop component of Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Next scheme is National Initiative on Climate Resilient Agriculture. Climate resilient agriculture is the agriculture that can withstand changes in the climate. NICRA, National Initiative on Climate Resilient Agriculture, is a mega project that has three major objectives. The three major objectives of strategic research, technology demonstrations and capacity building. This project was launched by Indian Council of Agriculture Research, ICAR. It aims to make farmers self-resilient by using climate-resilient agricultural technologies and management of natural and man-made resources for sustaining agriculture in era of climate change. This means this scheme was launched by ICAR to make farmers self-resilient by using climate-resilient techniques and various resources for sustainable agriculture. The scheme has four components. First is strategic research on adaptation and mitigation. Adaptation means adapting to the climate change and mitigation, mitigating, lessening the effects of climate change. The second is technology demonstration to cope up with climate change. Technology demonstration to cope up with current climate variability is launched in 100 districts, 100 vulnerable districts. The third component is capacity building. The fourth component is sponsored competitive research. ICAR sponsored competitive research to fill critical gaps. Next is Krishi Vignan Kendras. Krishi Vignan Kendras are agricultural extension centers. These are created by ICAR to provide various types of farm support services. ICAR is created to serve as single window mechanism. It is created to serve as single window mechanisms for addressing technology needs of the farmers. It also acts as link among researchers, extension functionaries like NGOs and farmers. The farm support services provided by Krishi Vignan Kendras includes advisory service. These advisory service include climate resilient technologies, training programs for NGOs, farm testing and frontline demonstration. Krishi Vikas Kendras operates under administrative control of State Agricultural University or Central Institute. It operates under the administrative control of State Agricultural University or any central institute. Next scheme is Mera Gaon, Mera Gaurav. The scheme envisages scientists to select villages. The scheme envisages scientists to select villages and provide information to the farmers of those villages and technical and other related aspects. The scientists will select certain villages and provide technical and other related information to the farmers of those villages. This scheme utilizes services of scientists working at various centers, working at ICAR and working at other state agricultural universities. This scheme may function with the help of Krishi Vignan Kendras and Atma, Agricultural Technology Management Agency. Next scheme is RKVY, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, Raftar. Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana is an ongoing centrally sponsored scheme started from 11th 5-year plan period. Now, RKVY, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, has been approved to continue as RKVY Raftar. Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, remunerative approaches for agriculture and allied sector regeneration. RKVY is approved to continue as RKVY Raftar for 3 years from 2017 to 2019-20. This scheme will help states by making more allocation to the agriculture sector of the state in order to help state to achieve 4% agri growth rate. This scheme will help states in achieving 4% agri growth rate in agriculture. As this is centrally sponsored scheme, the fund sharing pattern is 60:40 by central and state government respectively for normal states and 90:10 by central and state governments respectively for Himalayan and northeastern states. Sub-schemes under Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana include BGREI, Bringing Green Revolution to Eastern India, Additional Fodder Development Program AFDP, Saffron Mission, Crop Diversification Program, Livestock Health and Disease Control, Foot and Mouth Disease Control, Beekeeping, Targeting Rice Fallow Areas, TRFA. Next scheme is Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Unnat Krishi Shiksha Scheme. This scheme was launched to promote agri-education. Under the scheme, 100 centers are opened. The objectives of this center are providing complete knowledge and skill on the topics of processing, value addition and marketing of coconut and banana products. This is done through capacity building programs and research and development programs involving those organizations. ARYA, Attracting and Retaining Youth in Agriculture, is another project sanctioned by Indian Council of Agriculture Research, ICAR. This scheme is for attracting and retaining youth in agriculture. It is being implemented at Krishi Vignan Kendras. Next scheme is E-Rakham. E-Rashtriya Kisan Agri Mandi is a digital platform that enables farmers to sell their agricultural products through auction. This platform enables farmers to sell their agricultural production through auction across the country. The farmers would get payment for their products directly into their bank accounts. Central Warehousing Corporation will provide logistics support for sellers and buyers here. Program is National Program and Use of Space Technology for Agriculture. Using space technology for agriculture. This is a program which envisages the use of space and geospatial tools for development of agriculture. The geospatial tools are used for mapping, monitoring and management of agriculture. The current running space related programs will be subsumed under this. The programs subsumed under this project are Project Fasal. Fasal project, which is used for crop forecasting. Project NADAMS, which is used for drought assessment. Project Shaman, which is used for agricultural assessment and development. And Project Kisan, which is used for crop insurance and crop intensification planning. This program will have 4 sub-programs. This national program on use of space technology for agriculture has 4 sub-programs. They are crop assessment and monitoring, agricultural resources management, disaster monitoring and mitigation, satellite communication and navigation applications. Next program is Project Shaman. This is used for the development of horticulture sector. This project is implemented by National Crop Forecast Center. The geospatial studies like crop intensification, orchard rejuvenation, aquaculture are deployed. The geospatial studies are deployed for preparing reliable estimates of crop production under Project Shaman. Next, Mission Fingerling. Fingerling is launched to improve fish production targets under Brew Revolution. Under this mission, potential states will be identified to strengthen the fish seed infrastructure, and these states are facilitated for establishment of hatcheries and fingerling rearing pond. The mission aims to meet the targets under Blue Revolution by 2021. Program is Har Med Parped. In this program, agroforestry is being promoted. Next program is National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. This mission seeks to transform Indian agriculture into a climate resilient production system by suitable adoption and mitigation measures in both domains of crops and animal husbandry. This mission seeks to transform Indian agriculture into the type of agriculture which withstands climate changes. The features of this scheme are: this scheme promotes integrated farming systems. Integrated farming system means to integrate crop production with livestock management in a way that complement each other with a nice symbiotic relationship, which is economically viable and profitable, which is also environmentally suitable. Second one is to conserve natural resources through appropriate soil and moisture conservation measures. The second feature of this scheme is conserving natural resources through appropriate soil and moisture conservation measures. The third feature of scheme is adopting comprehensive soil health management practices. Example, issuing soil health cards. The fourth feature of this scheme is judicious use of water resources for achieving more crop per drop. Fifth feature of the scheme is develop capacity of farmers and stakeholders through extension services. This is the overview of all important schemes launched by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Thank you.